What is going on? Welcome to the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. My name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and I am here documenting my journey through this podcast in real estate and business, while also talking a little bit about travel hacking and personal finance. So go check me out on Instagram and TikTok, where I post daily. And you can also go to figuringitoutfinance.com, where you'll find all the links to everywhere you listen to podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean is where I post them, so you can go check them out there. Today is going to be a little bit shorter of a podcast because it's right after Christmas. I'm recording this on the 21st, but I hope everybody had a really good Christmas. I just wanted to talk about, before we head into the new year, what opportunity cost is, because this is something that was really impactful when I hear other people talk about it. Because, I saw something on Instagram. It was Brian Lubens. He was talking about going up, when he was in Italy. It takes 20 minutes to get up these stairs in Italy to have the best view of Rome. And he's seeing all these old people on the side not being able to, get all the way up the stairs in their 60s and 70s because they're just gassed. And he said, if I stayed in this corporate job all of my life and then retired like these guys did to go take this trip, I'm going to end up like them, not being able to reach the top. So that is the opportunity cost of waiting and being in a W-2 job versus going out and just trying to figure it out where I'm at right now. So I wanted to preface that a little bit about what is opportunity cost. So it is basically the time you spend debating on whether to do something or not, and it will cost you more than you know, because, it's not just costing you money, it's costing you time. So time is the biggest thing for me, where, going back to, my junior year, so I had an injured hip, couldn't really work out, and I'm like, all right, well, what do I do? Because if I just keep eating the way I was as an athlete, I was going to get fat. So I decided to start learning how to cook. I would go to the gym in the morning, hit upper body, start learning to do abs, and I really, tracked my calories. And that was probably the most fit I've ever been in my life. I lost quite a bit of weight, and I was just leaned up, and it's so hard trying to get back to that now. And, I took that time as a lesson, because I also started reading during that time. And that's when I got into books. Man, I read so many books that year, just because I started building it into my schedule and realizing how important it was. And that eventually led me into real estate, which is what I'm doing now. So what I mean to say through that is, if I took that time in my life to, just sit on the couch, do nothing, watch Netflix, and not start educating myself and reading, I would not be in the position that I am now. I would just be doing, having a regular job. I'd be in a tougher position. But now, because I spent that time acquiring that knowledge through reading, now I have such, a head start on all of these people, because I'm asking the questions about time and life and money that some people don't start asking until they get to halfway through their life, when they're 40 and 50. They just throw money in their 401k, save a little bit here, eventually buy a house, to where I'm like, well, I want to be a millionaire before I hit 30. So, how do I do that? How do I create the life I want to live? And how do I not just throw away my time working 80 hours a week? And those were those questions that I was asking when I was 22 years old. So, it's led me to this moment to where I'm 25. I have my own business. I'm still pretty broke, but I'm also married, and, figuring out that time, because I was able to really settle down mentally from where I was, get a very clear expectations of where I want to be, who I want to be hanging out with, and how I want to be doing that in general. So I didn't know the how yet, but real estate started popping up, and that was through the reading. So in all of this is to say, that opportunity cost, if I just wasted that time that I have to where I was bored, with a broken hip sitting in front of the TV and I didn't start reading, I would not be in the position that I am now. So, going after, we bought 5 houses this year. We're going after 50 next year, which is what I talked about on the last podcast. If I didn't have that opportunity to get really bored and start reading, it would have costed me a lot more down the road. So I decided to get very curious. And this is what a lot of people do because they don't understand the opportunity cost. And listening to Ryan Pineda talk about this with somebody, they said, if, this person, they're trying, they have some money saved up and they're like, well, I heard I should be buying rentals. It's like, okay. And they're, they've been there, done this. And this is the mindset that I've, had. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep acquiring rentals. I have my W-2. Like it's cool. We're going to get some cash flow. But the problem is they start working through this situation, and I'll restart there. So he's like, okay, well, let's say you do buy that rental. How many rentals, cash flowing at $500, best case scenario, nothing bad happens, is going to get you out of your job? You're probably going to have 30 to 40 rentals, and then that's going to take you to your $20,000, $15,000 to $20,000 number to be able to get you out of a high-paying job. It's like, well, how long did it take you to save that money for that first rental? It's like, well, it took a long time. It's like, so do you have all of that time again to be able to, save up that money and buy another rental? They're going to say no. It's like, well, then why are you trying to buy the rental if it's not going to work? Like the plan already doesn't work, and it's the opportunity cost that you took saving that money for that opportunity, and that is what is going to be costing you more down the road. Like there should be a different plan. You have to raise money, flip houses, do something else to, impact your income and raise that income. And that is where you are going to step ahead of everybody else and really take control of your life. So I'm going to leave you off there. Hope everybody had a really great Christmas. I love talking about these things and just being able to think deeper. That's why I listen to podcasts and read a ton of books. So that's my personal story, and I guess we'll see how that goes here in the first quarter of 2025. But almost wrapping up this year, and the next podcast is going to be my 2025 goals, and the last one, it'll be posted on January 31st of 2024, talking about my 2025 goals. So tune in for that next one, how I did it and why I actually did it in November and not starting, the week before 2025. So tune into that next podcast, but I appreciate you tuning in for this one, episode 96, and we will see you on the last day of 2024.